It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Tuesday, the 27th of May. I'm Michael Groff. Dry conditions, temperatures above average, and getting warmer for the rest of the week. The hottest weather we've had so far this year expected on Friday, with the warmest desert spots of southeast California and southwest Arizona likely topping out right around 110 degrees. Not quite that hot here in Phoenix, but not far away. Highs about 104 to 108. But then a pattern change comes in for this weekend, and we've been talking about this for the last several days now. Increasing moisture, chances of showers and thunderstorms across the state. Will we see anything here in the valley? That's the big question mark. Always exciting to talk about some rain here in the dry season. We'll get to it as we dive on in and discuss. First, the almanac from yesterday. 100 degrees the afternoon high, 73 was the morning low, 98 and 73 are the averages for this time of year, 112 the record high. Fortunately, we're nowhere near that. As we take a look outside right now here at 10:30 a.m., we've got some clouds out there right now, a lot of high clouds around. Partly sunny sky. We're sitting at 90 degrees at Sky Harbor, but it is just bone dry with a dew point at 23. Relative humidity 9%. The winds are light and the barometer is steady. Satellite picture out here across the west. There are some high clouds across the area right now in association with a short wave that's coming through. Now, that short wave is not going to have any other meaningful or significant impact on our weather, certainly not going to cool us off or bring any rain around here, but some high clouds around for the rest of the day today. What we are watching is a developing upper low that we'll see off the Southern California and Baja coast developing over the next 24 to 36 hours, and that will have some implications on our weather down the road, potentially. The watch warning map, we had a severe thunderstorm watch over parts of Louisiana and southern Mississippi. We've got some heavy rain that's been ongoing over parts of the southeast the last few days, really extending from the southern plains to the southeast. Active weather has been ongoing for a while, and that will continue. But our old summertime friend is popping up out here across the west, and it's got a new name this year. I think we've mentioned this. What used to be called an excessive heat watch or an excessive heat warning is now called an extreme heat watch. And that could be upgraded to an extreme heat warning. But anyway, the extreme heat watch for the Mojave Desert, Northwest Arizona, up into the Las Vegas Valley. That's issued by the National Weather Service Office in Las Vegas. And each Weather Service office has their own criteria for what constitutes extreme heat or heat advisories in their relative county warning areas. But yes, we have those. And of course, also in the valleys of California, an extreme heat watch is in effect there as well. All right, convective outlook for today. We've got the standard slight risk of severe storms. That's level 2 out of 5 for the Rio Grande Valley of Texas, and as well as parts of the southeast. Again, basically from extreme southeast Louisiana through southern and central Mississippi, Alabama into Georgia. The marginal risk for the adjacent areas. Just east and north of us, thunder possible, but in Arizona, things are going to stay relatively dry. I mentioned that short wave that's coming through here. It really doesn't have implication on our weather, but it will interact with some moisture to the east of us for those chances of showers and storms. The tropics in the East Pacific are getting interesting. We've got this area of disturbed weather off the Mexican coast. And again, we've been talking about this for a while. And now, over the next 48 hours, the National Hurricane Center gives this a 90% probability of developing into a tropical depression or storm. Should it develop into a storm, it gets the name Alvin. It would be the first tropical cyclone of the Eastern Pacific hurricane season. And again, that will have potentially some implication on our weather interacting with this developing upper low. And again, we'll talk about that. We'll get you all the latest on that in just a moment. Looking at the potential track of this system, this is right now called Invest 90E out there in the East Pacific. And this is the tropical set, the ATCF set, showing the tracks of this in pretty good agreement, curving this more toward the north and eventually onto the Mexican coast, the southwest coast of Mexico. The GFS ensemble, pretty good agreement. The European ensemble is a little further west. But again, you get the idea. This is going to be down there. It's going to fizzle out as it moves up into either the southern Gulf of California or into the southwest coast of Mexico. Obviously, this is not going to track right up to us. Why we're interested in it is that upper low and pulling some of that moisture from down there northward into the southwest United States. Obviously, that's of interest to us. We'll keep an eye on it. Speaking of, here's the precipitation outlook. This is valid through Tuesday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, we might see a few hundredths of an inch, maybe as much as a tenth of an inch, with slightly heavier amounts possible just to the north of us. Obviously, those favored upslope areas north and east of Phoenix always has that chance of precipitation. So let's figure out what's going on with this. There's a lot of questions. There's still uncertainty. Can we find some answers? Let's figure it out right now as we explore the models, see what the future may hold. Here we go. This is the GFS. It's the 12Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. All right, there's that short wave here over the southwest. It's going negative tilt, and that's going to have at least enough dynamics for those showers and storms east of us. But for us, snow down at the surface for the rest of the day today. Just some high clouds around. We'll call it partly sunny. High temperatures, upper 90s to about 101 degrees. And relatively speaking, that's fairly close to where we ought to be for this time of year. Maybe just a couple of degrees above average. For tonight, a few clouds in the evening, but then will become clear. Overnight lows should be, again, in the mid-60s, upper 60s in the cool spots, low to mid-70s in the urban core tomorrow. Mostly sunny sky, high temperatures topping out about 99 to 103. All right, let's keep it going. This is Thursday, and we'll warm it up a couple of degrees. But look what's happening down to the south of us. There's that tropical cyclone, maybe a tropical storm, maybe a hurricane, minimal hurricane at least. And it's off the coast of Mexico. Now, of course, in the short term, no impact in our weather. We're still sunny. We're still dry. And as we go to Friday, we've got an upper low that's off of the Southern California and Northern Baja coast. Now, you can't really see it on this synoptic chart, really, but it's there. What we're watching is the evolution of our tropical cyclone down here off of the coast of Mexico, and it's turning more toward the north, according to the GFS, on Friday. And Friday for us could be the hottest day we've had so far this year. We're forecasting highs of about 104 to 108. Yes, we've got that H word in the forecast, right? Hot, obviously. And there will be some clouds around at times. Clouds will continue to increase as we go to Saturday. And here's the upper look. And you can see that upper low is, again, to the south and west of us. And its exact position has changed slightly on these model runs, but more or less it is somewhere off the coast of Baja. And it is beginning to pull some of that tropical moisture northward. So by Saturday afternoon, we might start to see some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms developing over the higher terrain north and east of Phoenix. Maybe a stray storm could get into the lower deserts, especially by Saturday night. We'll introduce a slight chance of a shower here by Saturday night, but the day on Saturday is dry. Humidity levels should start to tick upward. We'll see those dew points, which are now in the 20s and probably ticking up toward the 40s and 50s. So given how dry it has been for so long, obviously that's you're going to feel it. I mean, even though, dew points in the 40s and 50s are still relatively dry compared to where we are, you'll notice by Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. Now, as we go to Sunday, the latest trend off the GFS is to begin to collapse our ridge. We've had this Rex block pattern that develops. This upper low sits underneath this big ridge over the Pacific Northwest. The ridge begins to move east and weaken. And as a result, it'll drag this upper low eastward, maybe as early as Sunday. Now, initially, we were kind of holding off and having this system begin to move east on Monday. But the GFS is speeding this up a bit. And so if that's right, the best chance of precipitation here might actually turn out to be on Sunday. Now, since it's moving a little faster, we may not get as much moisture transport coming up here, but the latest run of the GFS does track this low more across southern Arizona, so better dynamics would be in place. So the two kind of offset. So we'll have enough dynamic support and moisture around for scattered showers and some thunderstorms possible during the day on Sunday. This is the precipitable water coming off of the GFS Sunday morning. And again, these values are not as high as we were looking at yesterday, but these are still way above the climatological averages for late May or early June. All right, so what we're looking at here is PWAT values around 1.2 to 1.4 inches across southern Arizona, and that's close to baseline monsoon levels. So when you see this, it means that the air is juiced up sufficiently enough to that we could see some widely scattered or even scattered showers and some thunderstorms. Now, will there be really robust heavy rain? Probably not. But isolated heavy downpours can't be ruled out. We're talking about tropical moisture being pulled up here, and there's the dynamic support around, and we're still a little unclear as to the exact timing. You know, if the best dynamics arrive more toward the afternoon, we'd have the thermodynamics, the heat from the sun, to really act and maximize that instability, right? So, yes, scattered showers, thunderstorms possible. The heaviest precipitation would favor the higher terrain north and east of Phoenix, but we know how this goes. There could be a heavy downpour or two here in Phoenix. Now, again, the problem is whenever we forecast this kind of stuff, you know, the showers and storms will be scattered. Some of you will see nothing, and you'll be like, what's the hype about? What is this about? I didn't get anything, so it didn't happen. Happens every time we have these storm systems, right? Some of you will get a little bit. Some of you will get a deluge. A few of you will. That's what happened with our last system that we had several weeks ago. So we'll see. And again, you know, this is still a little bit uncertain, right? The timing and the models are changing a little bit, but pretty good agreement among the models that at least a decent chance that we could catch a shower or storm here. And precipitation amounts have varied. But the preponderance of guidance suggests that rain amounts will be 1/10 of an inch or less here in Phoenix, but we'll show you some of that output here in a minute. Now, Monday off the GFS is actually looking dry. The system moves on out pretty quickly. There might be an isolated shower or storm around on Monday, but right now the GFS says, nah, most of it's out of here. We'll still keep a chance of showers in the forecast on Monday, but it's a pretty low-end threat, and we might just remove them entirely if the latest trends off the GFS continue to advertise. The European is a little bit slower. The other models, the Canadian, the ensemble members are a little slower to move the moisture out. So for now on Monday, we'll keep at least a slight chance of showers going. And temperatures, by the way, during this time will be lower. We might not even make it to 100 degrees on Monday. And who knows, if Sunday turns out to be a little bit wetter, we may not be 100 degrees there. But the trade-off is the humidity would be higher. All right, here's a week from today. This is Tuesday, the 3rd of June. Now, interesting here, a few things going on. A pretty high amplitude pattern. Look at that 597 ridge up there over the North Pacific. My goodness. And downstream, a rather anomalous upper low is over the Pacific Northwest and dropping toward the northern Great Basin. Now, if we still had moisture around here, as that system comes on our way, it could interact and create some showers and storms, but I think most of the moisture will get pushed out of here. The one thing that a system like that's going to do is it's going to keep temperatures from skyrocketing back up toward well above average levels. In fact, daytime highs might be below average in a setup like this, at least holding in the mid, maybe upper 90s. This is Wednesday, the 4th. And again, kind of the system weakening a bit as the pattern is still higher amplitude, but not as much, and the system going more of an open wave. So, but nevertheless, temperatures would be below average going out 10 days. This is Thursday, the 5th. And again, weaker troughing sits to the north of us, a west-southwest flow. That's dry, but again, temperatures are at or maybe just a couple of degrees below average in this setup. It'll be interesting to see how the pattern evolves as we go into next week. Now, again, here's where the details get interesting. We look at rainfall for Phoenix, and this is going to go out through the 10th of June, and this is off the GFS ensemble. You got 31 members in this ensemble. Most of them show rainfall. Not a lot, But again, keep in mind what we're talking about. The 31st of May, the 1st of June, the very dry days historically. The 2nd of June, those are very dry days. 1 or 3 times in history, in 129 years of record keeping, has it rained on those days. So obviously any rain would be noteworthy. But I thought I'd show you, this is the European ensemble, 51 members. Most of them have rain. There's quite a spread here. The ensemble mean is almost at 1/3 of an inch. It's almost at 3/10 anyway of an inch, with the control member close to 1/2 an inch. Now, am I telling you we're going to get 1/3 of an inch of rain or 1/2 an inch of rain? I would say probably not. The European is maybe overdone here. But someplace in Arizona could very well see that. And we have to consider those possibilities. Now, I always lean these forecasts toward climatology until I have clear and convincing evidence otherwise. And I would suggest that we're going to continue with pretty low QPF amounts, pretty low precipitation amounts here in Phoenix, if any. But we're going to watch this very carefully and see how it evolves, because that's what we do here. All right, looking at temperatures off the national blend of models. Well, you know the story here. Yeah, it's going to get hot later this week, and by Friday, we could be pushing up toward 107, 108 degrees, the hottest deserts, again, of southeast California, southwest Arizona, could very well touch the big 110. I don't think we will. I'd like to see us hold off on that for as long as possible. All right, and that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really enjoy what we're doing here, you want to support the channel, please do. Hit that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make a contribution to us that way, or PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. Our Venmo is also linked up down there in the description, and we'd sure appreciate that. And of course, just by you watching and liking and subscribing and commenting on the videos, that also helps us out too. So any way you can help out, we appreciate it. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name. That's called Sweet Child Arizona. I'm talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, probably Adriana related as well. It's all linked up down in the description. Our streaming station, it's called KMGX. We play a ton of music. We have lots of fun doing that. It's been ongoing for longer than some of you have been alive, and it's right there in the description. And yes, you can listen via that avenue or just by going directly to KMGX.com. Speaking of how long you've been alive, I forgot to do this on yesterday's video. My bad. Let me do that now. I want to say happy birthday to Clayton, who is, he's been watching us for quite a while. And of course, he sends in submissions for Photo Friday, and we really do appreciate it. He comments on the videos, and he's donated to us. He's, a great viewer of ours. Is this right? He's 27 years old as of yesterday. So happy birthday to Clayton. And 27 years old. What is that? Would that be 1998, if my math is correct. I have had coffee today, so I can think properly. Man, that's just a couple years before we started doing the streaming station and all the live shows and all this stuff. Man. Good times. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support, so greatly appreciated. Please do be safe. Stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and have yourselves a gorgeous rest of your Tuesday.